All right. So we've been talking about the brain-body connection and how important it is. So many times we become busy as moms. You have 3 kids. I have 7. It's busy. I
Hmm.
said anything over 3 doesn't matter how many more kids you have. That third one is something. But all too often, we don't listen to our bodies. We're like, oh, I'll make sure everybody else is eating, but I'm going to skip my meal. We'll make sure that. Which kid is it?
Owen.
Oh, he's fine. So, I mean, we have how many kids in here? It's not going
Several.
to be quiet. It's just not going to be. But we we hold off going to the bathroom. We're
Mm.
like, no, I'll drive another hour. I don't want to inconvenience anybody
Don't
or
want to wake up the
stopping. Don't
baby.
want to do all.
Whatever.
Yeah. I wake the baby up. I'm going to have to nurse the baby. I'm not stopping.
Right.
And that delays my trip an hour or two,
Hmm.
just depending. And we don't listen to our body.
Right.
And what happens when we start telling our body, oh, hold your pee. Oh, you're really not hungry. Oh, you're not thirsty.
Right. First, it starts off unconsciously because nobody wants to make themselves hold their pee, or go hungry. But it's in servitude of something else. It's because there's another expectation that we've placed higher than that need of our body. So what happens when we ignore it is it gets quieter and quieter, and especially in the instance of holding your bladder, that's really bad for moms in particular. Like we
Yes.
should not be doing that at any point. We're worth taking a break and going to the bathroom. But yeah, it's really easy to be over meeting everyone else's needs and under meeting your own as a mom.
And your body begins to shut down.
Yes, it will.
Your mind gets
Absolutely. If you
tired,
don't
your
take
body
care.
shuts down, you're getting mixed signals. You're like, man, I have to do all these things.
Mm.
They're not. I know we all get the same 24 hours, but I'm telling you,
Yeah,
I
I
feel I'm like, what in the
know.
world? I don't sit and watch TV. I
Hmm.
don't sit.
Hmm.
Um, and I know I can remember being a young mom. Oh my gosh. And you would have the oldest kid
Yeah.
watch the youngest kid so you could try to go take a really quick shower because you don't want anything to happen to the young kid and you don't want the old kid to feel like it's responsible and that's its job to
Hmm.
watch that kid. But all too often we neglect ourselves. We
Yeah.
neglect self-care, moisturizer, showers, everything,
Hmm.
food. I've
Yes.
literally said I'll just eat whatever is left. And I
Hmm.
didn't realize at the time
The
that
leftovers.
I'm getting the leftovers.
Hmm.
Cold eggs. I've
Yeah.
said literally, I've eaten cold eggs off the floor just because scoop it up and eat it and go. You don't want to waste and you got to eat something and just go. And I did not realize that okay, I want my kids to watch me. I want them to see that I'm praying. Okay, we're praying. We're being kind to people. We're going to open doors. Like I remember the time you helping the lady in Hardy's
Hmm.
bathroom. You were like 15. You weren't even old enough to drive yet because I was
Hmm.
having to take you to college. And we want our kids to see us doing all these things to help
Right.
everybody else. I never realized that you all were watching me
Shrink.
shrink.
Yes, but I don't blame any one particular mother that struggles with this because for me it's more systemic. Our village is lacking. Our partners and support people are not present. There's a lot of nuance to why we don't take care of ourselves that well. It's not because we just decided that we're less than. It was just so much easier to put the focus on these other things, like meeting the needs of everyone else. And almost if you're used to seeing your form of mothering, where you just boss mom 7 kids through homeschooling, like in the middle of nowhere with no village. Okay.
Yeah, no.
In the middle of nowhere. I was going to say the county, by the way, but anyways, I won't hear. But it's just,
I feel like it was going somewhere else.
it's just really easy to see that and go, well, why can't I do that? I know as a mother myself, when I've had my children, I'm like, my mom did this. I should be able to do this. And I have used the mothers in my life as an example, not just you, but many mothers. And so when I became an adult and I saw women that would go to the bathroom and like shut the door so that their kid would scream on the other side and didn't climb on them or nurse them while they were using the restroom. That blew my mind a little bit. I had a small amount of judgment for that. I was like, what? I just did not. I wasn't familiar with a mother deeming herself worthy of the priority of I'm going to potty in private. I'm going to have my food. Even if you stand here and cry, you will be okay. You're safe and fed, you know.
Yeah.
When you get to witness, because we all have our mother, but then we meet so many mothers. I'm sure you can think of women
Oh,
who have
gosh.
mothered you,
Yes.
and like
Oh, Lord.
so when we meet those other mothers and we see, wait, like I thought that might look selfish, but her children are really well rounded and taken care of, and she's
Yeah.
not floundering. Like nothing
Yeah.
is wrong with her prioritizing herself a little bit. It doesn't make her selfish at all. And I initially had thought that because of just lack of scope.
Yeah.
Right. And I look at, you know, even before your generation, the scope of what women were capable to claim for themselves
We were talking,
was so limited.
and you brought it to my attention 52 years ago.
Yeah. Women could not get a bank account without a man's signature, their husband or their father. We were really systemically second-class citizens.
Yeah.
So it's generational. It's long, and we have to work individually and collectively at it.
Absolutely.
Right? We have to dismantle our shame for those other mothers who are taking up that space.
Absolutely.
Number one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Talk to me a little bit more about the martyr mother.
The martyr mother
The
is
martyr mother.
a version of the Too Good Mother. She is just sacrificing herself. We all know what a martyr is. Someone who lays down their life for another purpose. And as mothers, it's very easy to do. You give birth, this beautiful baby is your entire world. Like, I could cry about it. I'm not going to. But that's your whole focus. So every mother that is a good mother has to go through the process of allowing that too good mother to die in like stages, in phases. We go from, oh, don't fall, to take the risk, be safe, you know, and we have to allow that the milk teeth mom, right? The babying, nurturing mother to kind of step back. But at some point we have to realize that the martyr mother has to go too. Like, martyring ourselves for our children doesn't actually teach them that they can go and do the things that we want them to do, because we're not doing it. We're ignoring that we have to pee. You know, like we have to be able to say, hey, I'm a whole person that's worth this, you know.
I can remember when Jacob turned 18, he was getting the opportunity to go to Montana. And, you know, this one lady, she'd always ask about the kids. And I was like, well, Jacob's going to go to Montana. She's like, how old is he? I said, 18.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, you're going to send him to Montana? And
send him like he's not a legal adult now.
I'm like, for one, he can go whether I say he can or not.
Yeah.
But also I was like, that's what I raised my kids to do. I raised you all to be strong, independent.
Yeah.
I want you to survive, capable. I want him to be able to go to Montana.
Right.
Does a mom want her kid that far away? No. But does she want him to be successful?
And capable?
Yes, and capable?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. You can't go with him to Montana, right? That would be too good mothering, right? That would be, I haven't let the milk teeth fall out yet.
Right.
You know, and that's a real problem too, that, you know, you may not struggle with, but moms do. Some moms do, you know, and that's also not taking up your own life and your own soul's purpose.
Right. Preparing you all was, I always say this, I had one job.
Yeah.
And it was to raise you kids to be successful human beings, great for society, and to see you raise your kids and be successful at it. So I'm very proud of you.
No tears.
No. But we were just talking about, you know, the importance of listening to our body.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to read that about the martyr mother?
No, I don't have that point.
So we were
talking to our body.
Yeah, listening to our body. And so many times we're like, okay, I feel exhausted, but I still have 2 more loads of laundry that need to be done by the time I get up in the morning,
Mm.
because when I get up in the morning, I'm going to be doing packing lunches or whatever needs to be done, cooking
Mhm.
breakfast, preparing. So I want my house clean when I get up, so I can start with a clean house. Everybody's in bed. I'm going to stay awake for 3 more hours and clean up
Yeah.
messes. And I know that I may, like you all, I taught you all, clean up your space
Everyone
before
cleaned
bed.
up. Yeah.
Everybody cleaned up, but there's sticking on the floor.
Yeah.
I can remember nursing kids and scrubbing the baseboards.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I've been
Why?
to a lot of toddler homes and they're not that clean and they're not supposed to be.
Why? But I would stay up all hours of
Yeah.
the night. And then come morning, I was up. And then I nursed for 15 years of my
Yeah.
life. That's a lot of not sleeping. You
Yes.
don't sleep when you nurse. And I
Mhm.
love nursing. But I found I never listened to my body.
Right. Well, what were you listening to instead? Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're not listening to your body, what are you listening to instead? That urgency of I need to get this done. You're
Yeah.
placing a need on something that is a task or a
Yeah.
desire.
Yeah.
It's not a need. You need to pee. You need to eat. You
Yeah.
need sleep.
Yeah.
You don't need to fold laundry.
No.
That's not a
Or
need.
scrub baseboards.
No.
Or I think as now being a Grammy, I slow down and I like appreciate every little moment because
Right.
I know it goes by so fast. I was talking to this lady and she said, I asked her, I said, what would be one thing you would change?
Right.
And she said, I would have played with my kids more. And it
Mhm.
just hit me. And I was like, I didn't play.
Yeah.
I was
No.
keeping you all alive. I was preparing you. You were the player with the kids. You were like their second mom.
But then I was boss playing because that's what I knew. So nobody liked playing with me. I'm
Right.
just kidding.
But our bodies, I wish I'd have listened to my
Yeah.
body more, because now I'm in a battle with my body of, you're exhausted, rest.
Yeah.
Sit down and rest. I don't know how to sit and rest. I don't. I have to physically drink chai vanilla tea so I can just feel like I'm relaxing and try to say, oh, I don't need to do 500
You have to
things.
retrain your nervous system on how to regulate.
Talk to me
and stay
about
calm.
that.
So your nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system is what controls all of your automatic systems like breathing, digestion, all of these things we don't have to think about for our body to just naturally do. You have a whole system that's devoted to that. And when we don't listen to it and we tell hush, 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 we keep pushing and keep pushing. We really are shutting it down. It's not safe anymore. And that starts to impact our heart rate variability, which is not the rhythm of your heart, but the beats between it, right? Or the time between your heartbeats. So everyone has a unique heart rhythm. And your heart rate variability, if it stays at a low state where things are consistent, it is actually not good for you. People with a higher heart rate variability, where they have more activity of their parasympathetic nervous system, where it goes into more than one mode. So you can't rest, right? So you're stuck in one mode. So when you're stuck in that one mode, your body is in fight or flight all the time, basically. Fight, flight, freeze. And that's just, it's awful for you as a person. You have to retrain yourself to slow down when you're slow maxing. Slow down everything you're doing. People that struggle with sitting still do things slower.
We had talked about how to regulate, and you had mentioned, as a teenager, you were just trying to regulate.
Oh, that's so funny.
You weren't really huffing, so your teenager is not really huffing at you.
Sometimes I was.
Your teenager is just regulating.
But sometimes I would just be like, and I learned later that big deep sigh clears out. When you empty your lungs out all the way, it's you're taking back charge of that parasympathetic automatic response. You are now in control of something that automatically happens. That's why breath work works. It's effective.
Okay,
Breath work
Yes,
is
what
is
it?
taking control of your breathing, spending time focused on how you're breathing, whether it be box breathing where you take 3 deep or inhale through your nose to where everything is the same count. You can inhale for 3, exhale for 3, hold for 3, box breathing. And when you do that and you make something that is automatic that you do all the time intentional, and you fill up your belly and you get fat, not tall, and you push all of the air out of your lungs, you're taking control of a system that controls a lot of other things in your body, including how quickly your heart is pumping at that time. So I have done breath work to pull myself out of hypotension. I know it's effective.
Well, I was going to say, as you're talking about this, like when the sun, even in the wintertime, I can go outside and feel the sun on my skin.
Right.
I breathe in and I breathe out, and I'm like, I am alive.
Yes.
I'm alive. I have a purpose.
Mm.
And I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I was just trying to get every ounce of life into my body because I needed it that much. So the next time somebody's feeling the anticipation, the overwhelm, if our body is like feeling anxious, if we're angry, if we're upset, grief, if we're feeling any of these things, what should we do? Go ahead.
Well, every single body is individually different. And your body is going to respond to you and what you tell it to believe. I could tell you 11,000 different ways to regulate your nervous system. You have to find what is applicable to you. So when I find myself having a sense of urgency that is really not necessary, right?
I can get that from
if I find myself having a sense of urgency, instead of escalating my thoughts on this urgency, I stop and I take that power back and I put it in my body, and I put my hand to my chest and one to my womb, and I breathe deep so that I can feel my hand expand on my womb, and then I push it all out, and I can feel this hand is a little further out than the other, right? When you exhale, having tight lips, not good.
Well, that
not good. I'm serious. You want to move that through your body. Your body is clenching and tightening and gritting your teeth and tightening because you're not allowing your parasympathetic nervous system to speak to you and honoring it. And just going outside and taking a deep breath of sunshine, we love that. It's not enough. Like, you have got to be intentional about whether, you get up every morning and you open your devotion for prayer.
Yeah.
Fill your lungs with intention, focusing on that. Right. It's easy to lose count, to lose track, to get distracted, and to just stop.
Yeah.
Intentionally doing that and filling your body with breath. Right. And just thank you that I can. But taking control of that is just important in my mind as prayer, because it goes hand in hand. If we are not at a state where we can be calm, then we're just always going to be dysregulated, and that place is not how we get what we truly desire.
Right. Well, like yesterday, I had a podcast at 6. It was something scheduled. The truck got stuck, and here I am trying to figure out where my glasses are and trying to do all these things and change clothes and get ready. And I realized, I was like, okay, I have to get some praise and worship on because I need something to calm myself before I go into this interview. When we think about times that, okay, we're anxious or I'm angry, and so many times I've talked about push through. You're thirsty, lick your teeth, push through. I'm that hardcore. Let's get it done. Just push. Oh, we're hungry. Okay, get something to drink real quick, and let's push through. We only have another foot to rake in the woods. And that's going to be our reward. We'll eat.
Right.
Instead of nourishing our body at that moment so we can work better and more efficiently. Right. it was, oh, our reward will be when we're about half dead. We're going to eat and drink some water.
Your
and then we're
reward's going to be
exhausted.
illness.
And then we're exhausted because our body is like, "Shh, take this moment and rest because this
Mm.
woman is crazy."
So I've had 2 chronic illnesses in my life, and I'm not 30 yet. And I don't take medications, and I've regulated and recovered from those illnesses through intentional body practices.
What illnesses were they?
I had hypothyroidism, and I also had Guillain-Barré syndrome. Those are 2 that are, hypothyroidism is much more common now, but it didn't feel common for me at 20, right?
Right.
And then I think that's when I realized that my body is basically a machine, that I don't get to actually just keep pushing it off, that I have to give it the attention or it will demand it and sit you down and say, figure it out,
Yeah.
or we're giving up.
Yeah.
Like, figure it out. You cannot keep pushing. I remember being 5 months postpartum. Granny had just passed. I have Guillain-Barré syndrome. I go in, they're like, are you more stressed than normal? I'm like, no, not really. Just buried my best friend. I just had a baby. What are you talking about? That's the epitome of stress. And I didn't even acknowledge it. I had suppressed it for a push-through mentality
Yes.
so long that it literally had to physically sit me down, paralyze me to the couch. And I still, without that push-through mentality, would have probably been in an ICU room.
Yeah.
I couldn't move, and I said, carry me to the couch and sit me up because I can't lay in bed.
Yeah.
I have to get up. But I also learned breath work during that time, right? And how valuable that is. And like, 2 things can be true and valuable at the same time.
Absolutely.
You can push through when it's needed and learn when it is your time to push for you.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so many times we don't realize that we need to push through for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I can remember a year ago, I was talking to you, and I was like, I can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And I'm trying. You know me. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to sit down. I cannot get out of bed. And you pretty much told me you've got to go get checked out.
Mm-hmm. Got to get a starting point.
You got to know what we're up against.
Mm-hmm.
What are we up against? And then I was like, okay. And you actually even said, do you want your girls to feel what you feel right now? And I was like, no.
No.
So we went to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
or I went to the doctor because she was going to take me.
Yep.
And I didn't want to inconvenience anybody. And we realized I was getting ready to have a stroke or a heart attack. And he was like, okay, here are the vitamins, minerals. Your body is needing this, this, and this. And that's what we went with. So, I went to the doctor, and you told me, let's do, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So we got my health back on track, but I had to make myself decide that, okay, I'm going to take these vitamins. I'm going to eat.
That you were worth the consistency to get better.
Yeah. And if I did not take care of myself, I was going to be a burden to somebody else to take care of me.
I think too often we look at self-care as like spa days or a shopping trip or a bubble bath, and that is self-care. But true self-care is prioritizing your discipline, which is teaching yourself how to walk through life.
Yeah.
That is our most important job. And like to get to a place where we can guide others, we have to be able to be confident in what we know, right? Absolutely. So you guided 7 kids in what you were confident in.
Yes.
Those 7 kids are going to take that one skill that you gave, and they're going to gain confidence in some other area. Who's to say one wouldn't be a lawyer, a doctor? We don't know. There's going to be different competencies in each person, but they're going to have that core value. Right. So we can hold that to be an incredibly valuable trait. Sometimes you have to just have some grit. Yeah. Try for yourself and just get it done. But there are times when we also have to rest.
Yes. I think we are so like, okay, I'm going to put myself back, put my kids first. If I spend money ordering vitamins or buying extra orange juice little things,
Mm.
a pack of underwear,
Mm.
simple stuff. I'm like, "Ah, that's a goat run."
Right. I had to get to a point where buying
Like-
the vitamins was like, if I don't do this, I could die and then leave 2 of my other children. And then who's going to mother them?
Yeah,
Then what kind of mother will they
Yeah.
have?
absolutely.
It is much better, in my opinion, for them to have a selfish mother who prioritizes her well being. I remember vividly my midwife during my pregnancy with Noah telling me, up your milk order and your intake. Like the kids are drinking it, you're not. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I'm forming an entire life,
Yeah.
as you did 7
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. And all too often we're like, oh, they can have the juice with the vitamins. I'm going to drink the water.
Yeah.
They can have the meat. I'm going to eat the extra peas
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And sometimes that's not a good sacrifice. I don't believe you should starve your children or anything, but sometimes it's not a good sacrifice to make yourself not valuable enough that food matters.
Yeah, I don't believe that's ever a good sacrifice to make,
No.
because
No.
if you were sacrificing your children's food, that would be different. If you were eating it instead of them, that would be different,
Yeah.
right?
So in this book, and it is Women Who Run with Wolves. You have all your stuff marked. Women Who Run with Wolves. You were sharing with us. Do you want to? Is this the part you want to share, or?
This goes back to like the village and the ideas that we form our motherhood on. And so I had just shared this while we were talking. I'll go ahead and read it. The most destructive cultural conditions for a woman to be born into and to live under are those that insist on obedience without consultation with one's soul, those with no loving forgiveness rituals, those that force a woman to choose between soul and society, those where compassion for others is walled off by economic tiers or caste systems, where the body is seen as something needed to be cleaned or a shrine to be regulated, where the new, the unusual, or the different engenders no delight, and where curiosity and creativity are punished and degenerated instead of rewarded, or rewarded only if one is not a woman. For her, not a woman, or whenever a woman is punished unjustly, as Alice Miller puts it. Okay, as Alice Miller puts it, sensually, I can't even say that word right now, for her own good, where the soul is not recognized as a being in its own right. When a woman has the ambivalent mother construct in her own psyche, she may find herself giving in too easily. She may find herself afraid to take a stand, to demand respect, to assert her right to do it. Learn it, live it in her own way. Whether these issues derive from an internal construct or an external culture, in order for the mothering function to withstand such constraints, she must have some very fierce qualities, qualities that in many cultures are considered masculine. For generations, sadly, the mother who wanted to engender esteem in herself and her offspring needed the very qualities that were expressly forbidden to her: vehemence, fearlessness, and fearsomeness. For a mother to happily raise a child who is slightly or largely different in psyche and soul needs from that of mainstream culture, she must have a start on some heroic qualities herself. She must be able, like the heroines of myths, to find and obtain these qualities. If they are not allowed, to shelter them, unleash them at the right time, and stand for herself and what she believes. There is almost no way to make oneself ready for this other than to make a deep draught of courage and then act. Since time out of mind, a considered act of heroism has been the cure for stultifying ambivalence. So, from my perspective, what she's saying there is the way to get out of ambivalence is to realize that our intuition and our own esteem is worth the placement that it deserves.
Absolutely. So sometimes we'll go through life and we're like, man, this makes me feel uncomfortable. This makes me feel uneasy. and we suppress that. We push it down. We push through.
Hmm.
What are the side effects of doing that?
So you want me to read the next part? Because that's really what it made me think of. The side effects are that you just don't, you slowly shrink until there's nothing left. Like you're not.
And I would never want you girls to shrink. I
No.
would never, ever, ever in a million years want you to. If you're a grandmother, you're like, oh, give me the baby, let me hold the baby, and you go eat. Because we want our babies to eat. We want them to know it's important to take care of yourself. We know how important it is for you to take care of yourself, but we don't listen.
Thank you.
You were sharing something with Anna and we'll go ahead and talk about the smorgasbord.
Yes, I can go ahead and read that.
Because we are trying to get her out of the driveway before it starts to get cold.
We'll find out. But I am going to go ahead and read this one. All right. I just love this part.
You read, and I'll be right back.
A woman must choose her friends and lovers wisely, for both can become like a bad stepmother and rotten stepsisters. In the case of our lovers, we often invest with them the power of a great mage or a great magician. It's easy to do, for if we become truly intimate, it is like unlocking a lead crystal atelier, or a magic one, or so it feels to us. A lover can engender and or destroy even our most durable connections to our own cycles and ideas. The destructive lover must be avoided. A better sort of lover is one finely wrought of strong psychic muscle and tender flesh. For wild women, it is also helpful if the lover is just a little bit psychic too, a person who can see into her heart. When the wildish woman has an idea, the friend or lover will never say, well, I don't know. Sounds really dumb, grandiose, undoable, or expensive to me. A right friend would never say that. They might say instead, I don't know if I understand. Tell me how you see it. Tell me how it will work. Having a lover or friend who regards you as a living, growing creature, just as much as the tree from the ground, or a ficus in the house, or a rose garden out in the side yard. Having a lover and friends who look at you as a true living, breathing entity, one that is human but made of very fine and moist and magical things as well. A lover and friends who support the creature in you. These are the people you are looking for. They will be your friends for your soul life. Mindful choosing of friends and lovers, not to mention teachers, is critical to remaining conscious, remaining intuitive, remaining in charge of the fiery light that sees and knows. The way to maintain one's connection to the wild is to ask yourself what it is that you want. This is the sorting of the seed from the dirt. One of the most important discriminations we can make in the matter is the difference between things that beckon to us and things that call from our souls. This is how it works. Imagine a smorgasbord laid out with whipped cream and salmon and bagels, roast beef, fruit salad, green enchiladas, rice and curry, yogurt, and many other things, table after table after table. Imagine that you survey it all and that you see certain things that appeal to you. You remark to yourself, oh, I'd really like some of that, and that looks good, and one of those too. Some women and men make all of their life decisions in this way. There is around about us a constant beckoning world, one which insinuates itself into our lives, arousing and creating appetite where there was little or none before. In this sort of choice, we choose a thing because it just happened to be beneath our noses at the moment in time. It is not necessarily what we want, but it is interesting. The longer we gaze at it, the more compelling it becomes. When we are connected to the instinctual self, to the soul of the feminine, which is natural and wild, then instead of looking over what happens to be on display, we ask ourselves, what am I actually hungry for? Without looking at anything outwardly, we ventured inward and asked, what do I long for? What do I wish for now? Alternate phrases are, what do I crave? What do I desire? For what do I yearn? And the answer usually arrives rapidly. Oh, I think I want some of this. You know what would be really good? Some of that. Is that on the smorgasbord? Maybe yes, and maybe no. In most cases, probably not. We will have to quest for a little bit, sometimes for a considerable time, but in the end we shall find it and be glad that we took soundings about our deeper longings.
I absolutely love that.
I do too.
And all too often we are like, I'll just eat whatever.
Mm.
Just what does everybody else want?
Right.
And I am just now learning to be, just recently did I go to the store and buy the orange juice that I like.
Right.
That I like. Because I've always bought the orange juice that everybody else liked. And while you're reading this, it just reminds me of what you spoke about at the women's retreat or Live on Purpose retreat.
Taking up space.
Taking up space. Why is it that we have to be reminded? I want you kids to take up space. I want you to take up all the space there is. You had an experience with Delaney. You were taking her, actually taking her to 4-H camp.
Yeah, she was just riding along. We'd stopped for lunch. I was like, what do you want? And, whatever's cheapest. And I said, Delaney, at any time I can go into any store and I can find anything that is cheap. The cheapest thing in here, I can find it, I promise you. I want to know what you want. I want to know what my sister likes to eat. I cannot. I'm going to cry if you cry.
Okay, go ahead.
But it was, anytime that I could go in and find the cheapest thing. And it made me think, like, God forbid something happens. I want to know her favorite, not just the cheapest thing. I want her to take that space up. I need her to take that space up so that I can love her more, right? And I want to teach all of my sisters not to shrink or encourage them to, because it's easy to do, I think, as mothers especially, and maybe they'll be moms, maybe they won't, but it's very easy to forget your place and your heart's position